takeout meals she didn't even enjoy that much. By redirecting that money toward quality cooking ingredients and occasional meals at restaurants she truly loved, she not only saved money, but actually enjoyed her food more. The beauty of mindful spending is that it's completely personalized. What brings value to your life might be different from what matters to someone else. Maybe you value travel experiences over material possessions, or perhaps investing in your education brings you more satisfaction than upgrading your wardrobe. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. To practice mindful spending, start by creating a budget that reflects your values, not just basic categories. Instead of simply labeling entertainment, get specific about what kind of entertainment matters to you. Is it concerts, books, streaming services? When you know what you value, you can make better choices about where to cut back and where to spend freely. Another powerful technique is the 24-hour rule for non-essential purchases. If you're considering buying something that isn't a necessity, wait 24 hours before making the purchase. This cooling-off period often reveals whether you truly want the item or were just caught up in momentary desire. Many people find that regularly reviewing their spending habits can be eye-opening. Looking at your credit card statement or tracking app might reveal patterns you weren't aware of, like that gym membership you haven't used in months or subscription services you've forgotten about. Mindful spending also means prioritizing experiences over things when possible. Research consistently shows that experiences tend to provide more lasting satisfaction than material purchases. Maybe instead of upgrading your phone to the latest model, you could use that money for a weekend trip with friends or family. Setting specific financial goals can also transform your relationship with spending. When you're saving for something meaningful, whether it's a dream vacation, education, or even retirement, it becomes easier to resist impulse purchases that don't align with those bigger goals. What's particularly powerful about mindful spending is how it changes your relationship with money. Instead of seeing money as a source of stress or limitation, you begin to view it as a tool for creating the life you want. This shift in perspective can be profoundly empowering. The results speak for themselves. Studies show that people who practice mindful spending report significantly higher levels of financial satisfaction, even without increasing their income. They experience less financial anxiety and feel more in control of their money situation. The debt dilemma, strategies for freedom. The weight of debt hanging over your financial life can feel like trying to swim with a backpack full of rocks. While mindful spending helps prevent new debt, what about the balances already weighing you down? The debt situation in America is becoming increasingly concerning. Credit card delinquency rates have nearly doubled since 2022, jumping from 3.69% to 7.1%. This isn't just a statistic on a page. It represents millions of families struggling to keep their financial heads above water. Let's talk about breaking free from debt's gravitational pull. The first step might seem obvious, but it's often overlooked. You need a clear picture of your entire debt situation. This means gathering all your statements and creating a simple spreadsheet that shows every debt you have, the interest rate, minimum payment, and total balance. You'd be surprised how many people make minimum payments without understanding how much those high interest rates are actually costing them over time. Once you have that clarity, it's time to choose a strategy that works with your psychology. There are two main approaches that have proven effective for millions of people. The debt snowball method focuses on paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of interest rate. Why? Because those quick wins create momentum and motivation. Think of Lisa, who paid off her $3,000 store credit card in just 4 months using this approach. That success gave her the confidence to tackle her larger debts. The alternative is the debt avalanche method, which targets your highest interest rate debts first. This approach saves you the most money mathematically, but it might take longer to feel that first victory. Your personality and motivation style should guide which method you choose. Both work, but only if you stick with them. For many people struggling with multiple payments and high interest rates, consolidation can be a game changer. Imagine replacing 5 different credit card payments at 18 to 26% interest with a single payment at 9 to 12%. Not only does this simplify your financial life, but it can also significantly reduce the total amount you'll pay over time. Just be careful. Consolidation only works if you don't rack up new debt on those freshly paid off cards. But here's something crucial that many debt freedom programs don't emphasize enough. you need to address the root causes of why you got into debt in the first place. Was it lifestyle choices that exceeded your income? Unexpected medical bills? Lack of emergency savings? Without tackling these underlying issues, you might find yourself right back where you started, even after paying everything off. Speaking of emergencies, creating even a small emergency fund can act as a financial buffer between you and new debt. Start with just $1,000 in a separate savings account that you touch only for true emergencies. This alone can prevent many of the unexpected expenses that drive people back into debt cycles. Remember Marcus, who had accumulated $43,000 in credit card and personal loan debt. He started with the debt snowball method and built a $1,500 emergency fund simultaneously. When his car needed unexpected repairs 6 months in, he didn't have to reach for a credit card. His emergency fund covered it. Within 3 years, he was completely debt-free and had expanded his emergency fund to cover 3 months of expenses. The current economic environment makes debt freedom more urgent than ever. With rising delinquencies in both credit cards and auto loans, many middle-income Americans are feeling the squeeze from multiple directions. The average length of unemployment has increased as well, making it harder for those who lose their jobs to quickly find new positions, a dangerous situation when carrying significant debt. The most powerful aspect of following a structured debt repayment plan isn't just the mathematical advantage. It's the psychological benefit. People with a clear plan are twice as likely to actually become debt-free compared to those who make occasional extra payments without a strategy. The plan creates accountability, measurable progress, and a roadmap that keeps you moving forward even when motivation dips. Rethinking retirement, new strategies for a new economy. Getting out of debt creates breathing room in your budget, but the long-term picture of retirement is shifting dramatically beneath our feet. The strategies that worked for our parents are becoming increasingly unrealistic, which explains why younger generations are completely reimagining what their later years might look like instead of following the old work until 65 playbook. Let's be honest, the concept of traditional retirement was created in a completely different economic era. Did you know the retirement age of 65 was actually established when the average life expectancy was only 62? Think about that for a moment. The system was literally designed with the assumption that most people wouldn't live long enough to collect benefits. Today, we're facing a fundamentally different reality. We're living longer, dealing with more economic uncertainty, and navigating a rapidly changing job market. For many in the middle class, the math simply doesn't add up anymore. Saving enough to completely stop working at 65 and then potentially living for another 20 to 30 years requires an enormous nest egg that feels increasingly out of reach. This is why we're seeing the rise of movements like FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Rather than focusing on a specific age, FIRE emphasizes aggressive saving and investing with the goal of achieving financial independence as soon as possible. The core idea isn't necessarily about retiring in the traditional sense, but rather gaining the freedom to work on your own terms. For example, many FIRE followers aim to save 50 to 70% of their income, allowing them to build enough wealth to cover their basic expenses through investment returns. This approach is particularly popular among millennials and Gen Z, who are facing significant economic challenges and want more control over their future. But FIRE isn't the only alternative approach gaining traction. Many people are focusing on building passive income streams that can support them later in life. Unlike traditional retirement planning that relies primarily on a large lump sum of savings, this strategy emphasizes creating multiple sources of ongoing income: rental properties, dividend-paying investments, online businesses, or royalties. The beauty of passive income is that it addresses one of the biggest anxieties about retirement: running out of money. When you have ongoing income streams, you're less dependent on drawing down a fixed pool of savings that might not last. Phased retirement is another increasingly popular approach. Instead of an abrupt transition from full-time work to no work at all, many people are gradually reducing their work hours over several years. This approach offers both financial and psychological benefits. Financially, it allows you to continue earning income while beginning to tap into retirement benefits. Psychologically, it provides a smoother transition into this new phase of life. What all these alternative strategies have in common is flexibility, something that's essential in today's unpredictable economic landscape. The rigid retirement timeline that previous generations followed simply doesn't match the reality many of us face today. No matter which approach you choose, experts emphasize that starting early is absolutely critical. Even small amounts invested in your 20s and 30s can grow substantially over time thanks to compound growth. Being proactive becomes even more important given the uncertain economic future we face. One particularly powerful tool is creating a written retirement plan. According to research, people with a written plan are 60% more likely to feel financially prepared for retirement than those without one. There's something about putting your strategy on paper that makes it more concrete and helps you stay accountable to your goals. It's also worth remembering that retirement planning isn't just about finances. Health, purpose, and community are equally important components of a fulfilling retirement. Many people find that their retirement dreams have shifted away from simply not working toward finding meaningful ways to spend their time. Whether that's through part-time work they're passionate about, volunteering, pursuing hobbies, or spending time with family. The retirement landscape may be changing, but that doesn't mean we need to face the future with anxiety. By rethinking our approach, starting early, and staying flexible, we can create retirement strategies that align with today's economic realities and our personal values. Building your financial resilience. Retirement strategies matter, but they're only effective if you can navigate the inevitable financial surprises that happen along the way. Think of financial resilience as your economic immune system. And just like your body's defenses, it needs to be intentionally strengthened before you need it most. In a world where economic uncertainty has become our new normal, building this resilience isn't optional anymore. It's essential. What exactly is financial resilience? It's not just having some money saved up for a rainy day. It's a complete mindset shift about how you approach your finances. It's about developing habits and skills that help you bounce back when life throws those inevitable curveballs your way. Let's be honest, most of us weren't taught financial resilience growing up. We were told to get good grades, go to college, find a stable job, and everything would work out. But that's not the reality we're living in today. The economic landscape keeps shifting beneath our feet, and we need to adapt our approach accordingly. One of the first principles of financial resilience is living below your means, not just within them. There's a big difference. Living within your means ensures you're not going into debt, but living below them creates the breathing room you need to build true financial security. This doesn't mean never enjoying your money, but rather being intentional about where it goes. Think about it this way. If you're spending everything you make, you're essentially walking on a financial tightrope. One unexpected expense can send you tumbling. But if you're consistently spending less than you earn, you're creating a safety net that grows with time. A robust emergency fund is another non-negotiable component of financial resilience. Financial experts recommend having enough to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This fund isn't for vacations or new gadgets. It's specifically for those unexpected emergencies that would otherwise force you into debt. Think medical bills, car repairs, or surviving a job loss. Start small if you need to. Even $500 can make a difference in handling minor emergencies. Then gradually build it up over time until you reach that 3 to 6 month target. Your future self will thank you when that inevitable emergency strikes. Diversification is another key aspect of building resilience. This applies to both your income sources and your investments. The days of relying solely on a single paycheck are behind us. By developing multiple income streams, whether through side hustles, freelance work, investments, or small business ventures, you create a financial safety net that can withstand economic shifts. The same principle applies to your investments. Spreading your money across different types of assets helps protect you from market volatility. When one area of the market struggles, others might thrive, helping to balance out your overall financial picture. But financial resilience isn't just about money. It's also about constantly upgrading your skills. The job market is evolving faster than ever, and staying relevant means continuously learning and adapting. Take advantage of online courses, certifications, and other opportunities to expand your skill set. This makes you more valuable in your current role and more marketable if you need to make a change. Staying informed about economic trends is equally important. You don't need to become an economic expert, but having a basic awareness of what's happening in the economy helps you make better financial decisions. Follow reliable financial news sources, and consider how larger economic trends might impact your personal situation. Building financial resilience isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual process that requires consistent effort and intentional decisions. But the payoff is significant. Those who develop strong financial resilience report feeling much more confident about their future, regardless of what economic challenges arise. Jessica, a marketing professional from Chicago, shared how building financial resilience changed her outlook. I used to panic whenever there was talk of layoffs or economic downturns. Now, with my emergency fund in place, multiple income streams, and an updated skill set, I feel prepared for whatever comes my way. That peace of mind is priceless. Policy solutions. Can the middle class be saved? Personal finance strategies matter. But what about the bigger economic picture? While Jessica's individual resilience has helped her weather financial storms, the disappearing middle class isn't just about personal choices. It's largely about policy decisions made over decades. And surprisingly, the solutions might require more than just better budgeting skills or investment strategies. When we zoom out from individual stories and look at the research, it becomes clear that reversing the middle class decline requires structural changes. No amount of personal finance optimization can fully overcome certain systemic barriers that have developed in our economy. Let's talk about what experts are actually proposing to rebuild the middle class. One of the most straightforward approaches is increasing the minimum wage. This isn't just about helping entry-level workers. It creates a ripple effect that can boost lower middle-class incomes across the board. Research shows these increases typically lead to more consumer spending and can actually reduce poverty rates, creating a virtuous economic cycle. Higher education reform is another critical piece of the puzzle. We've already seen how crushing student debt has become for millions of Americans. Making college more affordable isn't just about reducing individual suffering. It's about creating an educated workforce that can compete globally while maintaining financial stability. Countries with more affordable education systems tend to have stronger middle classes because their graduates enter the workforce ready to contribute without being weighed down by massive debt.